All right, episode 1. Ready to roll, ready to roll. Welcome to the first edition of the Knights of the Roundtable podcast. I'm Jack Kaiser. Really appreciate you spending some time with us. Athletes and coaches join us on a weekly basis, and we're excited to share their stories this year. Every episode will be posted to the Bellarmine Athletics YouTube page. You can find a link and clips across our social media platforms at BU Knights on Twitter. Our first guest on the Knights of the Roundtable podcast is from the men's soccer team, senior captain Greg Fischer. Greg, how you doing today, man?
Doing pretty good. How are you, Jack?
I'm good, man. We're set up in the President's Room here in Knights Hall. We're on loungers, some couches, so I guess round table may not be totally accurate. It's like more of a metaphor,
yeah,
I guess, at this point, but got a good view of the basketball court up here. It's a pretty good spot.
Yeah. No, I haven't been up in the President's Room in a while. Last time I was up here, these couches definitely weren't in here. I really think it was just those high top tables and that bar looking thing back there. But so yeah, a little upgrade up here, but it's definitely a good view of the court for sure.
Yeah, it is. We may have a nap spot now with these couches if we ever need to crash for 30 minutes.
No doubt. So
we were just talking off the air about the name of the podcast. What do you think of Knights of the Round Table? We're open to feedback, honest feedback.
Yeah. No, when you first told me the name, I thought it was good right off the bat, but then like I said, maybe if you thought about it a little bit more, didn't like the name for sure. Maybe Knights Talk or something like that as another suggestion. But Knights of the Round Table is definitely clever. Uses the Bellarmine Knights mascot well in the name. So
anything simple, right? I mean,
exactly.
We could go Swords Up podcast. That's another one I just thought of. But yeah, we kind of came up with it on the spot that figured we might abbreviate it KRT. So we'll think of something, but for now we're going to stick with Knights of the Round Table podcast number 1. And
yes,
we're going to start with a hard-hitting question, real hard-hitting. Have you seen Ted Lasso?
I have.
What do you think of it?
I have. I've seen all of the first season and just a couple of the episodes in the second season. The first whole season was hilarious. I mean, it was so funny. Jason Sudeikis plays that character so well, and just the way they portray him in the locker room, coming from America into England, and just a completely different setting. Obviously, he's an American football coach, and then he gets hired on as a European football coach, and so it's just different styles of coaching that the players definitely weren't ready for, but as you can, have you seen the show?
Yeah, I am. I'm just about to start the last 2 episodes. I guess the last one hasn't come out yet.
Okay. Yeah, so it's entertaining for sure. I need to get caught up on the second season. Like I said, I'm only like 2 episodes in, but so yeah, I'll have to go back and rewatch those and then get caught up completely. So
do you think you appreciate it more because you play soccer?
I think so. I think I get a little bit more of because it's basically a lot of the behind the scenes thing, in the locker room, dealing with the front office and stuff. And obviously I don't really deal with the front office here because it's a little bit different, but playing the sport and being so involved in terms of watching as many games as I can and just understanding the behind the scenes of the sport, I definitely understand it a little bit more than some other people might.
It's so funny. It's on Apple TV Plus. If you don't subscribe, it's honestly worth it. I think it's the best comedy on TV right now. It's that good.
Yeah, I don't watch too much TV anymore, like TV shows. Anything I watch is really on YouTube right now, but yeah, Ted Lasso is one of those shows that I would definitely recommend to anyone.
Well, and you're mid-season too. You can't watch it all the time. You're a pretty busy man.
Yeah.
So you guys are going down to Florida Gulf Coast this weekend. You're a captain for the team. And I was thinking about this. It just seems like guys who are captains, at least most of the time, have been captains or leaders their entire life. Is that the case with you?
Yeah, I was captain at Trinity when I played soccer there, only for 1 year because, in high school captains are really only the seniors, But even my sophomore and junior years, I started pretty much every game back at Trinity, and even though I wasn't declared the captain of the team, I felt like I was a leader not only because of my voice, but just because of my talent and sort of IQ on the field and stuff. And I was able to lead by example more in those years rather than use my voice. And I think having that background, being as a leader on the team and being named captain my senior year has definitely helped me be captain for, 3.5 years, I think, here, which has been a true honor. So,
Why do you think you've always been a leader?
I think just just overall, I feel like I kind of understand the purpose of everything that I do, or that our team is set out to do. And some people might only understand their role within the group, but I feel like I have a really good feel of everyone's role and how we can all come together as one unit and be successful.
What made you fall in love with soccer?
Honestly, I've played soccer since, I don't know, as long as I can remember. So, maybe like 3-4 years old or whatever. My dad first got me into soccer at the rec fields over in Oldham County. But almost every athlete that grows up playing multiple sports, there comes that time where they have to basically choose which sport they want to play for in high school, and even into college. And so I grew up playing basketball, soccer, baseball, and I swam a little bit. I didn't enjoy playing baseball. One, because I struck out almost, I would say, maybe 90% of the time. So my on-base percentage was minimal at best. So I knew that one was out the window, and I'm only 5'8", 5'9", maybe. So I'm not tall enough to play basketball. But I was also, so soccer was kind of, I guess, maybe the wisest choice in terms of my skill level and physical attributes. But I also thought that I was the best at soccer in terms of my talent, compared to the other sports that I was playing at the time. But being able to come together with so many guys, obviously only 11 guys can play on the team, but we have such a big roster. Like this year we have 36 guys on the team.
Right.
So just the environment and training, and the winning culture that we try to build each and every day is something I enjoy so much.
Did you have any other interests outside of sports growing up?
Honestly, not too much.
Yeah.
Playing 3-4 sports consistently throughout the year, I didn't really have time for much else. So really, I would go to school, then come home, get ready for practice, and then have practice for a couple hours every day, and then come home and sleep and do the same thing the next day. So really, sports has been my life for forever, pretty much. So
how about now?
Complain.
Anything else?
Now golf is, my brother and I play golf all the time. Golf is probably, outside of soccer, obviously golf is another sport, but it's something I don't do competitively. Golf is probably my number one hobby. And I would like to say I'm pretty decent at golf. So that's why I enjoy it so much. And it's something else. I think anyone who does something for so long can maybe get tired of it or just kind of go through the motions, but having something else to do in your free time, I think is so important to kind of take your mind away from what you do so consistently.
What's your best score?
72, even par.
Wow.
Over at Glen Oaks Country Club, over there in Prospect. So
you don't do it competitively, but you're pretty darn good.
Yeah. When I play over the summer, is basically when I play, because I'm so busy in the fall and the spring with soccer. But if I can play 2 to 3 times a week, I would say I shoot anywhere from 70 to 80 consistently. So,
well, you may have a future as a golf pro, perhaps. Who knows?
Maybe.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. So I'll let you give the background on this. I heard that your nickname was the Mayor at one point. Maybe it still is. Why do you have that nickname?
Well, as you know, my name is Greg Fischer, and for those out there, the spelling of my last name is Y, I was given the nickname the Mayor. Mayor of Louisville, his name is also Greg Fischer. But when you hear the name Fischer, a lot of people don't think there's a C in there. Obviously, the C is silent, so a lot of people think it's spelled Fisher, but it's really spelled Fischer. And so obviously we have the same name, so that's where the nickname came from. And I didn't give myself the nickname; it was kind of given to me in high school. And after a while, it got kind of old. But it some people still bring it up every now and then, but it's pretty much gone by the wayside now. So
you don't like the nickname?
I wouldn't say I don't like it. It's just, I don't know. It just got kind of old for me. So.
Do you have a new nickname now?
I do not.
Okay, just Greg Fischer,
Yep.
Captain.
Yep.
Have you ever met the mayor?
I have. It's actually funny. We aren't related in my no one in my family is related to him, but my aunt, she's Greek, and so there's a Greek Orthodox church over in Linden, and the mayor's wife, she's also has Greek heritage, and they go to the same church.
Wow.
So in their church, obviously because of the pandemic, they haven't been able to, but other than these past 2 summers, they host a Greek festival. And usually every year he shows up one of the 3 days during the weekend, and so that's pretty much the only time I've ever met him. But yeah, so.
Have you ever been over to Greece?
I have not. I was actually supposed to go last summer. Funny enough, we had a guy on the team last year, Jonas Schoolstad. Was my roommate for 3 years. He's one of my best friends throughout college. And so I had booked a trip over to Norway for a few days, and then he and I were going to go to England and catch a couple games for the last weekend of the Premier League season. And then he was going to fly back to Norway, and then my family, my aunt and all my cousins, they were going to be in Greece at the same time I was going to be over in Europe. So the last 3 or 4 days of my trip, I was going to fly down to Greece and meet them and experience Greece, but obviously the pandemic had different plans for us. So.
Man, that sounded like the trip of a lifetime. Unfortunately, it wiped it out.
I know. I was so excited for it, and then for obvious reasons it got canceled. But I'm hoping if everything with the pandemic kind of calms down, I'll be able to go next summer.
So you played your freshman year at SIUE, Southern Illinois, Edwardsville.
Yep.
Why'd you go there initially?
So the head coach there at the time, his name is Mario Sanchez, and I can't remember, but before he took the head coach job there, he was an assistant coach at U of L for 8 to 10 years, something like that. And so obviously growing up here playing club soccer, he was involved a little bit, coming out to camps or hosting U of L camps or just coming out to trainings every once in a while throughout the years. So I had a little bit of a relationship with him through that. But going through the recruiting process, he really made me feel wanted and felt that like everything I had to offer was going to benefit the team. And then when I took my visit there, I really loved the campus. All the buildings and everything were pretty close knit, but in terms of acreage, SIUE, I don't remember the number, but maybe like 3,000 acres of campus. Don't hold me that number, but it was a massive campus in terms of land size. So it was a beautiful campus, but obviously I was only there for 1 year and I ended up redshirting. Things didn't work out for whatever reason, but I ended up here and I haven't looked back since. I've enjoyed every single moment here. So
why don't you think they worked out?
I think with any team, coaches probably have their most favorite players.
Mm-hmm.
So I think maybe a little bit of that, but I think maybe just my mind didn't lock with his throughout that fall semester. Maybe we didn't see eye to eye, or maybe the criticism he was giving me I didn't take to heart. and didn't try to improve on that. But things happen for a reason, and I'm glad I'm here. So
it's just got to be that right fit. And
exactly.
It seems like you've got that right fit here.
Yep.
And something I was curious about when you transferred to Bellarmine was a Division II school. So when did you find out that they were going to go D1?
So I had heard, I think the official announcement came in like June or July of, what was it, last year, 2020. But we had heard talk the summer, the preseason before. It wasn't 100 at that time. It wasn't 100% that we were going Division I, but I think Tim had a pretty good gauge of whether it was going to happen or not, and he kept hinting it at it throughout that fall season, and then obviously the announcement came shortly after that. So,
what was your first thought?
Obviously SIUE is a Division I school. It was probably a little bit different because they were already now SIUE previously were in Division II, but it was I think 7 or 8 years before I had gotten there. So they had already established themselves in Division I, and then so from playing in Division II. Or actually when I was in Division I SIUE, I understood this. We had games Tuesday, Saturday, Wednesday, Friday, something like that. But in Division II, before we transitioned to Division I, our schedule was the same every week. We had games Friday, Sunday, and then we had off on Monday every week. Then we would train Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So our schedule was very rigid, which is something I got used to. But when we heard that we were going to Division I, and I knew our schedule wouldn't be like that. We'd have our schedule week to week would be a little bit different. We wouldn't have as many tough trainings because when you have a midweek game, you need 1 day to recover, and then oftentimes you're either playing that next Friday or Saturday, so you only have a couple days games to prepare. So you don't want to kind of tire yourself out those next 2 days, so you'll have plenty of energy for the next game. But obviously, because of the pandemic, again, our first season in Division I didn't go as planned. We only had, I think, eight games, and then plus the 2 in the conference tournament. But I was excited to go back to Division I, just to experience different competition, and just see how well we would do, or how well we would fare against Division I competition. Because playing the same teams over and over again. In Division II, we would always, our games against Maryville and UND, they were always close, 1-0, 2-1 games. They were always really intense, but some of those lower level teams in the conference, you didn't really gear up for those games. You know what I mean? But every game that we've had so far at the Division I level, we've been really amped up and ready to get after it in battle. So
yeah, I imagine that provides such a bolt of energy for you guys. And now you're playing, top 25 teams in the country. It's hard not to get geared up for that.
Exactly. Yeah, in Division II we experienced some of those games. We had University of Charleston come in here, and we ended up beating them 1-0. And then they ended up winning the NCAA championship that year. And then my first year at Bellarmine, we played Rockhurst when they were number 2 in the country. We beat them here. So we've had experienced some of those top tier games before at Division II level, but not as consistently as you do at the Division I level.
So now you're a super senior. Maybe that's not the term you like to use. 5th year guy. What title do you prefer?
Well, actually, if you think about it, I'm a 6th year guy.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So because of the pandemic, student athletes were allotted that extra year of eligibility or whatever. So yeah, might be the first sixth-year player in program history. So.
Sixth-year guy, super senior, which one you choose? Super senior, maybe.
I haven't heard super senior before. I haven't heard that one yet.
Sometimes that comes with a negative connotation.
Yeah. But yeah, a lot. Anytime that's brought up at practice or whatever, it's usually been a 6-year guy. So,
was ever not coming back a thought for you?
Honestly, it was a little bit because I had that. Or last year would have been my 5th year. Or I was coming back for my 5th year regardless. Just because I knew if I left after I graduated with my undergrad, that I would regret it. I've given my everything to this sport, and what was one more season? You know what I mean? I have my whole life ahead of me. You can only play soccer for so long, So if I had the opportunity, I was going to take it. And then, unfortunately, the pandemic hit, but it gave me the opportunity to come back for one more year, which I'm taking full advantage of, and I'm getting my MBA this year to be able to play. So,
why was not coming back more of a possibility this year versus your 5th year?
Because I didn't know if I wanted to get my MBA. I didn't know if going to school again, even if it's for another year, a year, one semester, I didn't know if I wanted to do that, even though I would still be playing soccer. And now that I'm in it, I'm so glad I did, because playing. When you practice and play basically every day of the week, there are some days where you're not really into it and training or whatever. I'd rather be doing something else, right now. But honestly, this year so far, there might have been one or two training sessions that I've been like, oh man, I don't really have the energy for this. I don't really want to be out here practicing, but other than that, I've loved every single second of it. So,
and that's a pretty high ratio when you do it every single day. If there's only a couple of those scattered throughout the year,
yep.
That's pretty impressive.
Yep.
And now you have that experience that you can share with your brother.
Yep.
Jack, he's on the team.
Yep.
What's it like playing with your brother?
Yeah. So last year it didn't go like we had hoped. For obvious reasons, the pandemic shortened our season. We only had a game every week, but because we're 4 years apart, we didn't get to experience playing on the same team at Trinity. He was a freshman at Trinity the year I was a freshman in college, so we just missed it by 1 year. But getting to play with him has been awesome. Last year he might not have got as much playing time as he would have liked, but anytime he was out on the field, I tried to make the most of it, obviously, but keeping in mind this is a team game. We have a goal. We're trying to win the game, but also keeping in the back of my head wow, I'm out here with my brother. Not everyone gets to play a sport at this level with their sibling. So
it's got to be like paradise for your parents, right?
Yeah, they've been to pretty much every game since last spring. I think they might have missed one or two. So,
wow.
So out of I think combining last year and this year, I think we've had maybe 17 games. I think they've missed one or two. So
even the road games?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
They flew down to Jacksonville last year for the ASUN tournament. They're flying down this weekend to Florida Gulf Coast. Their flight leaves I think a couple hours after ours does on Friday morning. But yeah, so I think they've got all the other flights that we might be taking this year booked already. But yeah, last year in the spring, they made the 8-hour drive to Liberty. So yeah, they're enjoying it. They're enjoying it so much. So
that's elite commitment. Like,
it is.
Parent of the Year award going to your parents.
I know, man.
What are the names?
Artie and Janet.
Artie and Janet, Parents of the Year for traveling all over the place.
Oh, yeah.
Watch their kids. That's awesome. So you take the free kicks. You take the corner kicks.
Sure do.
Lefty.
Yep.
Have you ever royally botched one of those?
Yeah, I mean,
like whiffed, slipped, hit it like 5 feet, like royally screwed it up.
not to that extent, but there's, when in any sport, obviously everyone makes mistakes. You know,
Yeah.
sometimes I'll overhit one or underhit one, but nothing that drastic so
Okay.
far, at least. So
That's good.
I know.
Have you ever just gone up there and decided, like, I'm going to send this thing in myself?
It always depends on the position. You know, sometimes it's just that in between distance where you don't know if you should shoot it or whether you should cross it. And it also depends on what the other team does. Like if you're in that in between distance, and they set up, say, a 4-man wall or whatever it might be, better for you to serve it in when they have less guys in the box, and we have more guys to attack it. So it's really just analyzing the situation, and seeing what's the best option to try and give ourselves a chance to score.
Coolest goal you've ever scored?
Coolest goal I've ever scored.
Any time in your life?
I would say there was a game. Obviously, if you're not from Louisville, you don't understand the Trinity St. X rivalry. But my junior year, playing at Trinity, we were at St. X, and if I remember correctly, I think it was raining. I think it was raining pretty much the whole game, and it was dark under the lights. And we won that game 2-0. I scored both goals. One was a free kick. I would say it was basically in the middle of the field, but left of center, maybe like 30 yards out, I would say. But it just went top corner left. And then the other goal I scored in that game, it was from the run and play. I don't remember exactly how it happened, but I know I received a pass square and opened it up with my right foot, took a touch with my left, and then just banged it in bottom corner. And just the feeling, it was crazy, you know, because in a rivalry game, you know, everyone's amped up, and to be able to score both goals in that game was crazy. So especially in a sport like soccer where there's not a ton of scoring, you put all that energy into it, exactly, and it all comes out at once. Exactly. Yep. The hardest part about soccer is scoring. You know, and that's why you see so many games that are so low scoring. I mean, there's a lot of games that are 0-0, 1-0, or whatever. But so yeah, being able to score both of those goals was pretty awesome. If you knew when you scored a goal that it was your last goal that you would ever score, what celebration would you use? That's a good question, because I mean, I don't score very often. I'm usually, if I do have a hand in a goal, it's usually an assist. You did in high school. Yeah. 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 The competition wasn't as great in high school. Right. But anyways, when I do score, my celebration is just go wherever the team is. You know, whether it's running to the corner or if we're scoring on the end, where our bench is, it'd be just going up and celebrating with everyone. You know, because yes, I might have scored, but we scored as a team. You know, so and being able to share that moment with my teammates is special. So spoken like a true captain. Well, you've still got a lot of season left this fall. What does the team have to do to make a run at an ASUN championship? We got to score some goals. You know, I think other than the Central Arkansas game, if I remember correctly, all of our games that we've lost or won have been by one goal. You know, and when we watch film, our coaches do a great job of dissecting and analyzing the film, and obviously showing things that we can improve on, but also showing the things that we do well, like the chances we create. And every film session we have, we go over so many chances that we've created and we should have scored on, whether it's just not getting the ball on target or not making that last effort run to get the ball in the back post or to beat our man to score. So we've been pretty solid defensively all year, but if we can start to put some in the back of the net, I think we're going to be a tough team to beat come tournament time. So
yeah, you guys have had a good year so far. If that offense gets rolling, it could be dangerous.
No doubt.
So I know you got practice. I'll let you go here, but what's your plan after college?
That's a good question. I really don't have a true plan right now. I'm kind of one of those guys who goes with the flow a little bit. I'll take things as they come. I'm intern at Humana right now, in the accounting and finance department. I've been with doing that for about 2 years, a little over 2 years now. And obviously Humana is a huge company. So if I can land a job, and there's plenty of jobs around, it's just whether one opens up. So if something there opens up, I'd be glad to take it. But right now, I got one more semester of school. I'll either finish in May or the next summer if scheduling allows. But yeah, so I'll take it as it comes. The good thing with accounting and finance, you can pretty much find a job in that industry anywhere. So I'm not stressing too much about it. I'll figure out when the time comes, so.
Hey, that's a good approach. Finishing up your MBA, man. A lot of good stuff ahead for you in that world and in the soccer realm as well. Really appreciate you hopping on.
Appreciate it.
Greg Fischer, captain for the men's soccer team. That does it for the first episode of the Knights of the Roundtable podcast, KRT. Subscribe to our YouTube page. Follow us on social media @BU Knights. Make sure to join us again next week. I'm Jack Kaiser. Swords up.